We back at it. This is season 18 episode 3 recap, and let's get straight into it. Khloe and Kim are in the confessional. They agree that if Courtney does not want to film, if that's what's best for her, if she wants to only film what's important to her, then they totally agree. You know, if that's what's going to bring, you know, a more positive attitude out of her when she is filming, then they're all for it. And I agree as well. You know, if you want to film when you feel like filming, if that's what's going to bring more passion and it's going to bring smiles on your face and not bringing it down and like, oh my God, here come Courtney crying again, then yes, girl, take the time you need and then come back when you're ready. So we move on to Scott Disick. He has kind of dipped into real estate, doing real estate. This is his first house opening. The house looked like bomb, by the way. Like, he had so many people there. The layout was nice. I love the grays, all of that. Like, it was nice. I think there was like a pool, fancy little pool area where his son was running around talking to girls and stuff. So in the transition from that scene to the next scene, they played these small little family clips of just the entire family when they were a lot younger, being their silly little selves. I thought it was cute. In the next scene, we have Khloe and Kris. They're sitting down having a mother-daughter talk, and I thought it was so funny. Khloe was talking about Kris's hair. It's like, does it look like a toupee? And she said 1,000,000%. 1,000,000% looks like a like, I think out of all of them, Khloe is the most hilarious, like hands down. I love her humor. It's just so quick and it's just hilarious. Kris is kind of getting on her about dating again, getting herself back out there, not letting that one situation between her and Tristan discourage her. And she kind of just expresses to Kris that she's not ready. She doesn't know if she wants another child, and that freaks Kris out. What do you mean you don't want to get out there? What do you mean you don't want more kids? You're a pretty girl. There's no reason why you should just be sitting here and not dating. She also said that her friends want to hook her up, and she's just not feeling it. And me personally, I would feel some type of way if my friends were trying to hook me up with people, because then I would feel like a charity case. Like, I know I can get my own, you know, do my own. Like, if I wanted your help, then I would ask you. For my friends to just take it upon themselves to go out and find me a man, I would feel like a charity case a little bit. Like, why are you doing that? Like, I didn't ask you. Something else that I liked too, Khloe in her confessional, she was like, everyone looks down on being single. If anything, y'all need to jump on this bandwagon. Y'all think I'm stressed and, you know, depressed, and I'm good. It's a wonderful thing when you reach that point of singleness where you're content and you're happy. You don't want that to be messed with, and you don't need anybody interfering or thinking that they know better for you than you do for your own self. So in this next scene, we have Khloe, Kendall, and Kris at a restaurant. And Kris sits down. She's already on the BS. She's like, is my lipstick smeared? Is my top? And they're like, what? And so was I. To me, that's just like trying too hard. Like, she trying to let everybody in the world know that she can just have car sex. Come on now. We don't need to know that. I was feeling just as awkward as they were sitting there in front of their mom. I wish my mama would ask me that or tell me that. I don't need to know that you just had sex in the car before you came to meet me and had lunch. I don't need to know that. They bring out this dessert, tiramisu, and she's like, you know, this is a sex dessert, right? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Again, they don't care. We don't care that you just boned your man in the car, in the hotel, at the house before you came. We don't need to know all that, Kris. Just chill. She even went as far as screaming out the word sex out loud. Kris, you are really embarrassing. You are really embarrassing, okay? Don't do your kids like that. Your grown kids, don't do your kids like that. Moving on to the next scene, we have Kris, Kim, and MJ. They were talking about Khloe, how she's single, she's not getting out there, and Kris just tells them that she's frustrated that she's not moving on, she's not trying to get out there. And Kim kind of agrees. She's like, she does need to keep, you know, making connections with people and putting herself out there so she kind of doesn't lose it, you know, lose her game or whatever. If she's not ready and she's the one that's going to be in this relationship, then y'all need to back the hell up and mind y'all business. That's all there is to it. Then there's a brief segment of Khloe and Scott talking about, again, his real estate business, working on his public speaking. Khloe and Kendall, they have a little moment of painting, bonding, whatever they were doing together. Moving on, Kris and MJ are at Dick's Sporting Goods. They're just walking around. Kris finds herself just innocently flirting with some of the young men in the store. Again, completely just putting Khloe out there like, oh, she looking for a man, she looking for a man. I have this daughter, you know, that she needs a man right now. If that was my mama, I would genuinely be upset. Stop making me look like a damn charity case. Like, I am just so desperate to just go and get a man from any and everywhere. She even went as far as putting somebody from the store on the phone. Khloe hung up on them, and I don't blame him. He was a trainer, and she was trying to set up a date between the trainer and Khloe's like, all right, I gotta go. Click. Kris was embarrassed, as she should be, because again, why are you going beyond your limits? Why are you not minding your business, Kris? That seems to be Kris's biggest thing in this episode. She's not minding her business. Moving on to the next clip, we have Kris, Khloe, and Kim there at the golf course, hanging out, spending some quality time together, mother-daughter time, sister time. And what do we have again? Kris doing way too much. First of all, I want to say Kim looked really good golfing. I ain't never seen her golf. Maybe that's because, again, I've been sleeping on the Kardashians for years now, where they may have had some other episodes where they went to the golf course and she learned, but I missed that. But she looked really good. She really knew what she was doing. Me, on the other hand, I would have looked like Khloe out there. I still would have looked good, but I wouldn't have been doing it right. Like, I wouldn't have been on the golf course putting anything out there far into the woods. Not at all. Kris is finding herself in these gentlemen's business next to them, right alongside them. How old are you? You know, are you seeing anyone? Do you have any kids? This, that, and the third. And of course, Khloe's already over it. She's like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm just making conversation, that's all. Just conversation. They were talking about how often they come, and she was like, oh, you come every Monday? Khloe, you should come every Monday too. Maybe you can get some pointers. Maybe you can get some. Last episode, I was kind of sick of Kourtney. This episode, I'm definitely sick of Kris. Like, Kris is just over the top, doing way entirely too much, and I'm just not here for it. So when they leave, Khloe's like, did you have a Viagra before you came here? Again, her sense of humor is just quick. Like, she's so quick with it. I love Khloe. And then in confessional, she says, I know you're a horny toad, Kris, but get over it. I'm fine, I'm good. We move on. We're back at Scott's house now. Scott is with Kim. He's expressing to her, you know, he kind of needs her help, her guidance with public speaking. He has this speaking engagement that he has to do. Now, he thought it was 4 to 5 minutes, but it was 45 minutes. And when Kim's jaw dropped, he was like, yeah, I thought they said 4 to 5 minutes. It's 45 minutes. So she was like, okay, what are you gonna do? He's like, well, I need your help because you've done a lot of speaking engagements. You're very good at it. He wants some pointers. He wants some tips to be the best public speaker he can be. And Kim is just like, well, you have to explain everything thoroughly, so thoroughly. Don't assume that they know anything. Make time fillers, you know, talk about yourself. If you talk about yourself, boom, that's 10-15 minutes shaved off right there. Let me tell you something. I remember public speaking in, I think it was junior high school. It was either junior high or my freshman year, and I hated it. I hated the little Z transformation, remembering what's on the flashcard, moving back, you know, I hated that. Absolutely hated that class. So as some practice, what Kim did, she sat on his staircase, on his stairway, and he was practicing. He was like, hello everybody, how you doing? And Kim starts laughing. He's like, really? That's how you support me? That's how you do me? Then she starts asking questions that she sees the audience asking potentially. She says, being that you live in Calabasas, are you concerned about the fires? Do you do the landscaping yourself or do you hire someone? And this next line sent me, like, it sent me. He told me, oh, me running. Like, I've never heard that in my life. When he said that, when I tell y'all, I I can't obviously I can't laugh the same because it wouldn't be genuine, but when I say I hollered, like I hollered laughing when he said that. I've never heard that. He said, oh, me running. What do you mean? What are you talking about? He's like, never mind, because you asked me all these questions. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought about my mama because as Kim, because she's the type to ask me all these questions that could potentially be asked just to have me prepared, which is not a bad thing, but at the same time it's like, dang, I didn't even think about all of this, and you're doing way too much right now, and you're making me feel intimidated, and I'm okay, just never mind, forget it. So Scott and Kim, they go to an improv class, and it was kind of cringy, I'm not gonna lie. It was just a little bit cringy because Kim is more reserved, she's more like soft-spoken and quiet, and with this improv class they were loud and screaming and hollering and, you know, just really putting themselves out there. And Scott was like, oh wow. So after only the first exercise, Kim was out. She's like, I'm good. After the warm-up, she's like, I'm good, I'm gonna just sit out, maybe I'll come back later. What they have Scott do, the instructor, she's like, I'm gonna have you talk about something like you're the expert, like you invented it, you created it. And he gets up there and he talks about sneakers, and he did a really good job. And I was like, I don't think he's gonna have a problem with this. The way he just finessed that speech that he did on sneakers, I don't think he's gonna have no problem. I think he being a little extra about it. In the next scene, we have Khloe and Malika sitting down having lunch together, and they're talking about, of course, the conversation between Khloe and Kris about not being out there as far as dating. And Malika's like, well, did you say anything directly to her that would make her, you know, kind of frantic like that? And she's like, well, yeah, I told her that I wasn't ready to date right now and I wasn't sure about having kids. Malika says, you have to consider, you know, I come from a big family, you come from a big family as well, so I'm sure more than likely that's what you're gonna want for yourself in the future, even though you don't see that right now with your current situation. And then she was like, well, duh, if you told your mom that directly, like outright, of course she's gonna freak out because she wants more grandbabies. Bottom line, she just felt like maybe Kris was still taking it, you know, and being a little dramatic with what she told her. It's not that deep. This may have been a few days later, or maybe it was the same day, but Khloe meets up with Kris in her office to basically tell her, obviously I know what you're doing. I'm not ready or willing to date. I appreciate what you're doing, but I would also appreciate if you just back off a little bit. You know, it makes me uncomfortable. I'll do it when I'm ready. I don't need your help. And I agree. Khloe, she don't need no help getting a man. She's not an ugly person at all. She's not an ugly woman at all. When you just push and push and push and push and nobody's asking you to do that, it can make a person feel uncomfortable. And then she goes on to say in the confessional that she's going to go ahead and just freeze her eggs because better safe than sorry. So Scott is now in Arizona, and right off the rip he's kind of intimidated by his friend because his friend is getting ready. He's amped up, he's doing push-ups. His friend says, I usually talk a little loud to get myself prepped up, to get my voice ready. And Scott's just sitting there on the couch like, he's like, oh my God, he's getting ready like he's about to run a marathon and do something crazy. But that was just him, you know, getting his mojo, getting amped up, getting ready to speak in front of, you know, tens of thousands of people. You know, you got to do something. You can't just go in and walk out. You know, some people might be able to do that, but that was his way of getting his mojo. So Scott felt very intimidated by that. He was like, look, I don't know if I'm gonna be up to par like this man is trying to make me be. So he calls him up on stage, talks to him a little bit, you know, get to know him a little bit for the audience to get to know him. And so he says, Scott, tell us the simplest thing you did to your property to make the value of the house go up. Just tell the simplest thing you did. He says, so yeah, at first the house didn't have a view. LA is huge on views, and the house didn't have a view. Just by cutting the trees down in the backyard, I upped the house in about $1 million of revenue just by cutting the trees down. And then his friend called him $1 million gardener. I was like, real corny. So now we're in the last scene of this episode. We have Malika and Chloe sitting down having ice cream just on a little girl's date. Malika gets a call to her phone from some source. She doesn't leak the source, but she says someone very credible. They call her and let her know that Corey, just Kris's boo thing, whatever, sneaking around with some redhead chick. So they instantly get up. Chloe's in the car talking her mess. Like, out of all places, the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, why would you go to the most well-known hotel in the area? And I agree, if you're gonna cheat, why would you do it somewhere where any and everybody gonna know who you with? So they get up there, they have their hats on, their shades on, and Malika was like, once Chloe is there, when she's taken there, ain't no stopping her. But it's just best that I'm here. It's best that I'm here. And I found it extremely funny that they bothered to show the hotel room, like the room number. They showed the room number. I'm like, really? That was just extra. So when Corey finally opened the door, Chloe put her foot in the way so he couldn't close it. And she was like, hey, how you doing? I can't come in. And she just barged her way in. Corey's like, no, you can go. Yeah. And so then they start looking around, like, who's in here? We're trying to find this person. Then Chloe heads to the back. Corey's like, no, don't go. And then the redhead helper runs around and runs in the bedroom. And she's like, I caught you. Who? And she's like, Mom? And I thought that was hilarious, because I'm like, that was hilarious and gross at the same time, because I would not, I'm sorry mama, no offense, I wouldn't want to see my mama in no sexy lingerie. Like, that would kind of turn me off. But she kind of like laughs it off, and then they kind of cool down a little bit. And she's like, I'm just uncomfortable right now. Then Chloe says, I was just wondering, who is this cheap hussy? Like, who is it? I was finna snatch your wig, but by how cheap it is, I feel them, you know, when you older, you know, you gotta improvise, you gotta role play, you gotta do all of that to keep it spicy. So I understand, Kris, but I just wish it wasn't on the episode. I wish I didn't see all your goodies, your girls hanging out like that. I wish they had spared us that. You know, we didn't need to keep up with that part, but it is what it is. They end the episode. Chloe points to her mom and she says to herself, about herself, she says, celibate and celebrating, horny as hell. And that is absolutely true. Don't know what we have to look forward to for episode 4. I'm excited though. I don't know if we're gonna leave off, you know, with Kris and her boo dang in the room, or if we just gonna skip to another part. But hopefully we skip to another part, because I don't need to see that again. I promise you, I'm good. That is the end of season 18, episode 3. Again, I'll be sure to link this shirt in the comments where I got this shirt from. My friend, he actually makes custom t-shirts, sneakers, book bags, luggage, you name it. He can literally customize any and everything. He actually did some sneakers for a really popular entertainer on Instagram that was in the Baby's Bop video, and also Chance the Rapper's hot shower video. So I thought that was pretty dope. Like, comment, subscribe. Also share if you like this. If you want more of this, then go ahead and share it. Peace out. Peace.